Yay, Michelle, I'm already streaming it live.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, folks who were joining us late. We are late because we just got off a badass CEO Enchantress call. Oh, oh, how do I mute myself? Dun, 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 dun. 1 second. There we go. Boom. Okay. Does that still work? Did it not work? We're still live. Good. Yay. Hi. Thanks for doing this with me.
Oh yeah, we're doing things.
We're doing things. Okay. So I had originally said that this live was going to be getting more clients and making more money. And we can totally talk about that. And I wanted to introduce everybody to Michelle, who is the amazing support coach for both CEO Enchantress and the Rebel Mastermind.
Hi. I'm excited. It's been great.
So one of the main reasons I hired Michelle to support the mastermind is because she gets it. She gets it in terms of how the hell do you have your own business, feel confident stepping up into it, creating something no one's ever seen before, standing in it, sharing it, selling it, making consistent monthly income, and like trusting yourself and your coach throughout the process. Michelle has also been coaching with me for the last year. She started in my we started as she was part of somebody else's mastermind who I was supporting and working for. And then I stopped that side gig and started my own mastermind. And halfway through, I think I reached out and I was like, look, Michelle, I can help you. I know I can help you. And do you remember that conversation? How was it to receive those DMs?
I mean, at that point, by the time I got those messages, I was already done with the mastermind that I was already in because I wasn't being supported. And I watched like one of your master classes that you did here in this group, and I had a whole page of notes. And I'm like, I haven't taken notes from a coach in like this in a very long time. And at that point I was like, I think I need to work with Emily. And you had just made that like niche pivot yourself, and I was like, yep, I need this woman's juice in my life.
Yay.
But no, it felt really great. I was really glad that somebody was like, hey, you're awesome. I know that you can kick yourself off a lot better. Let me help you. It felt good to me. I was like, yeah, because I was already so burnt out in the other mastermind. I was like, at this point, I'm down. Help me.
And what I really love about your work, like you just have so much drive. You know, you're like, I'm going to figure this out. I don't know. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to figure it out. And then you show up and you figure it out.
I do it messy, so messy and sloppy sometimes. It feels so wonky at times, but it's like, I just think I know if I don't take the action, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think that's a thing with my clients too is, and I've said this a few times, but it's like, look, you hired me because you want different results. Well, to get different results, you've got to do something differently, and it might get a little uncomfortable, but here we go. Let's try. Let's figure it out. I remember, Michelle, the first time we were diving into sales strategy and me being like, follow up, and you being like, no, I'm not doing that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was like terrified of being like, let's just get people's input. What? Are you crazy?
And you did.
Now it's like, oh, okay, we're okay.
Yeah, I think the biggest game changer for me was really in taking a stand for my clients and their work in the world and being like, no, I'm going to follow up with you because you said you're interested and you know that you want this. And most of the time it's people's fear, but it's not even afraid of me or my program. It's their fear that they're not fully going to show up for themselves. You know,
Yeah.
and I know we both know that fear, right? Of like, but if I commit, like, then I have to admit that I really want this business and that I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, I think for me, and I've noticed this with some of my clients too, of like, oh, I'm just afraid of my own success. Cause like I know if I do these things and do all this stuff scared and kind of letting go of like the perfectionism of like the idea we need to be perfect and all this stuff, it's like, oh, well, if I just do the things, it's actually gonna happen. Cause oh my God, I'm in that boat now. Like I've already told you, like I'm in this boat of like a big goal about to happen, and everything in me is just like, oh my God, it's happening. But like I know I want this, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it scared. And just doing that and just being like, yeah, okay, if I know if I take consistent action and I show up, it's gonna happen, and not being afraid of that success. Like, I mean, I'm to a point now where it's just like, I'm not as afraid of my own success anymore because I know that it's going to happen regardless. But it's in the beginning, I was so petrified of like, what if I'm so successful? I can't do all the things myself and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, well, okay,
Deal
well,
with it.
we'll get there.
Yeah. I think that's what I love the most about having support in my business, whether it was hiring a one-on-one business coach or being in masterminds myself, is the somebody else being able to say, oh yeah, I've been there, I've done that. We'll figure it out and we'll figure it out together. Like you don't have to do this alone.
Yeah, that and being in your mastermind, like it was an actual mastermind. Like it just felt like, wow, these other women are talking about their fears and what's really alive for them, and actually talking about it and getting the support. Because then it's just like you hear these other women that they're in the same boat as you, of like, oh, I'm scared of this, or like I'm going through, just life is like my life, like I'm like life's just handing me lemons right now, and like how do I navigate that in my business? And it normalizes, oh my gosh, like everybody's going through the motions just like me too. Like it's so good to know as an entrepreneur that like you're not alone. Cause I know, like, compared for where I came from, like the mastermind I was in, it was just all like showing up and being perfect, and their life was just great and all blah blah blah. And it was like there was no being a human in there, you know. And then it's like coming into your mastermind, it was like, oh my gosh, we're all just human, everybody's experiencing all this stuff too. Huh, okay, great, I'm not alone.
Like it's such a big deal to hear your fears come out of some other amazing woman's mouth, you
No,
know?
for real, that's been a huge game changer for me. I was like, okay, I'm not alone, like this is normal.
Like you're not a
Okay.
pretty snowflake, I guess. Yeah, I think it, especially, you know, I'm the first one to have an online business in my entire family. I assume you are as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And we're probably some of the people in our families, like, we're going to be making the most money out of anybody in our families. And like that can be really isolating, like sitting at home on your computer, trying to figure it out, being like, oh, nobody understands me, but they want to believe in me. But then to be surrounded by a group of women who actually understand like what it is to make your first package or your program, or to pivot your niche, or to hear crickets, or to both be afraid of success and failure at the same time, is so cool.
No, it really is. It's been so helpful being like, oh, I'm not alone in this. Cause it's like sometimes as an entrepreneur, you feel so alone though. And that's a huge thing with me. I just had a conversation with someone in my family, and they're like, yeah, I don't know what you do. They thought I did MLM. And I'm like, no, that's
No,
definitely not what I do.
no.
But it's still, they're just like, yeah, you do you. I believe in you, you know, but they just don't get
Yeah.
it. And it's been interesting on my journey of being an entrepreneur, and I'm the only one in my family that's doing it. But it's a world of being in a mastermind and being around, like having that support. It's so much different, like of just being around people that get it. It's such a different world, and it's so nice. It's just like, oh yeah, all my online people get it. And you have that group and that space to go to when you're feeling celebrating, or you're just like, I feel like crap, and you have this safe space to talk about it where people, they get it, they understand it. Like there's no, you don't have to hold back. Because even like in my area where I'm at, like even my best friend, like I don't tell her everything because like she just does not get it. um But on the online world, everybody gets it, when you're investing in yourself with these coaches, these masterminds and all that, when you're in there, they just get it. And it feels so nice. It's a different ball game when you invest and you're in those spaces and you're like, yeah, I have this space I can go to vent, or I can celebrate and actually be celebrated and be supported. It's really nice. It's incredible.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do this without support. And I'm actually finding I like masterminds more than I do one-on-one business coaching. And there's a place for one-on-one business coaching at a time, and depending on what people need, I love doing it. But I really like learning from other people, from what works for them, what doesn't, where they've been, and just normalizing it. Like, people who make 7 figures still have doubts and feel like they should bring their business down and like nothing's working. And those of us who are, I remember working towards hitting my first 6-figure year, and all these doubts come up time after time. And it's like, I should just burn the business down and go work for somebody else. And I used to have that thought and it would last a week, right? And now when that thought comes up, it's usually Monday morning. I'm with my kids. It takes me out for 15 seconds. I have that thought and I'm like, adorable. Your business is working. You love your clients. There's money coming in. You're going to be fine. Get it together. And that thought, the whole process takes me 60 seconds. And then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, there's that. And then also seeing other people's wins and like what they're up to is your proof. Well, if they can do it, I can too. And I've been saying that for years before I even got into the coaching. Like I've always, being this dreamer, like, I see people on social media doing all these things that I've always dreamed of doing. And I'm like, you know what? Well, if these people can somehow figure it out and do that, I can too. So I kind of had to steal other people's proof of like, well, if they can do it, I can too.
Yep. I always
Yeah,
talk
it's
about
like a lot of proof.
borrowing other people's proof as your faith. Because, oh my goodness, especially for my healing arts folks, when you're building something that you've never done before, that the world has never seen before, there has to be faith. Faith in yourself, faith in this divine purpose, faith in your dream, in that drive of like, I don't believe whatever universal forces at play, God, goddess, gods, I don't believe that you would have this drive that you're just supposed to not do. Like, oh, I have this big dream. I'm just like supposed to yearn after it for years. Like, no, you're supposed to do it, do the thing.
Yeah, I think for me, I had that drive forever and I let a lot of fear stop me. And then like it just like once I got the momentum I needed with like figuring out how I can do things and make it happen on repeat, there was literally like, oh, there's no stopping me at this point. I'm just gonna keep going and going and going. And it happened. It worked. But I think a huge key part in that was getting the right support. Like I don't think I wouldn't be where I am today if it hadn't been me like saying, the other mastermind, leaving that and being like, this isn't working, and then transitioning to working with you. And then it's just like everything's kind of been, sometimes I feel like I'm going downhill, but it's okay. But like going the uphill, it's like I'm making more money than I ever have now. But it was getting that support and like telling myself I deserve support that's gonna work and like actually get me somewhere, and it's worked ever since.
And you
I think
work
it's just,
it.
you get to a point where you realize, I think it's like, oh, I can't figure this out on my own. And sometimes I still have that thought of like, I can just do it on my own. But then it's like when the mindset stuff pops up where I feel really stuck, I'm like, oh, if we didn't have my coach or somewhere to go, I wouldn't know what to do, or I'd just be stuck. So for me, getting the support and doing it all scared and just knowing like this is what I need and getting the support has what's made my business just kind of just be like, where? Yeah, because if I wouldn't have gotten the support that I needed, I don't know if I would have done all of it, like I think getting the support too, and I think I've said this to you a million times, it's like having a coach or a group that you can go in, like it pushes me to do the stuff that I'm really uncomfortable with. I do it scared, dang well knowing if all of it were to go wrong, guess who I've got in my back pocket to like tell me everything's okay. You didn't mess this up. Like it's not a total failure.
We're gonna
And
figure
just
it out.
that alone is like, oh, I'm going to take this action. I'm going to show up on my socials really sloppy or whatever it looks like and do it dang well knowing I've got someone in my back pocket that I can go in, like these groups or one-on-one coaching. You've got somebody there that's just like, oh, I've done this. This is what we can do now. It's really cool to have that support too. Like you're petrified, but you do it, and then it's just like it either works or you got to pivot a little bit. It's just like, but you figure it out, and it's really nice having that like to lean back onto, which I just love.
I do too. And what I love about the Rebel Mastermind is that we're literally going to be in the Facebook group every day of the week. So
Oh, yeah.
people can post every day. You can go live every day. Like it's there for you to utilize, right? So you make a post, somebody attacks you on the post, that shit happens. You come in, you ask other people to support you on it. You ask, okay, what do I do differently next time? How do I show up? How do I feel good about this? Because shit happens when you're trying to build your business. And there'll be days where you feel on top of the world, and there'll be days where you're like, I'm going to burn it all down and go back to corporate America. And what I find is with the support, with business coaching, it just stabilizes you faster. And then,
Yeah.
and like Michelle's going through a bit of a niche pivot at the moment. And like that kind of shit can take you out for months. And instead, we were in Voxer doing one-on-one coaching this morning, and it's like, oh, okay, here we go. And then she takes serious action because she's amazing.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, it is. It's like having that support in the pivots of where it just feels like you're just like where I'm at, like everything's pivoting a little bit. It's okay, but it feels so strange because I'm like stepping more and more into, oh, I'm figuring out what I really like to do and what I'm really good at and what I've resisted for such a long time to and just life things in general too, because like yeah, that pivot, it's just nice to have somebody in my back pocket to be like, hey, it's okay, we're gonna figure this out too in moments, especially where I'm like, I'm just gonna quit, I quit.
Yeah. I mean, you're not an entrepreneur if you don't have the thought, I guess I should fold my business and quit now, even if it's only for 30 seconds.
Yeah,
It's just part of the
yeah,
gig.
yeah.
What I'm most excited about for this round of the mastermind is that the one-on-one coaching calls are going to be with Michelle. So you're going to get 30 minutes of one-on-one time and attention with her every freaking month. And Michelle's superpower is in helping people get actionable goals around what they want to do. And I think that is an absolute game changer when you're scaling your business to six figures.
Yeah, it's and the thing is too is like anybody that works with them, like I'm mega ADD, so like I like planning and I like the structure, and I think a lot of times when it comes to okay, what am I doing with my business? How the biggest thing that I've noticed is people get really overwhelmed with I have a business and I'm investing in these courses and programs and like I do this all this too, but also I have a life as well. Like how do I navigate if you've got like big life goals like me, like I think this whole time I've been working with Emily, my biggest goal is like consistent monthly income. If I can do that, I can go to paramotor training, which by the way is happening next weekend. Holy shit. But it's also just like,
Take a minute right there. By the way, that's happening next weekend. Just this giant goal Michelle's had for years that she's making happen.
Yeah, and that's like I was gonna totally come in this group and brag about that anyways, because like with me working with Emily and joining her mastermind, it's kind of like I teach goal setting, but you also need to set your goals in a way that's like a domino effect. And I knew, okay, if I can focus on getting my business going and creating that consistent monthly income, I can get the money together and all the other ducks I needed in a row to hit this paramotor training goal. And like, this is not something really small for me to just go do because it's a goal I've wanted for 2 years. And it took me a minute to do it just because of like my past, like, like I've not been a person that has somebody that can just hand me money and support me, a good credit score. I wasn't taught any of that. everything I do is for me. So it just got to a point where I was like, cool, I have to figure out how to do this. And I fell on my face a lot for like a year, figuring out how do I set goals? How do I make these goals a little bit more realistic? Because a lot of times we get that we've got this big picture goal of like, yeah, I want consistent 10K months, but we kind of forget about those smaller steps that we can take in between now and getting there. And it's also, how can we tweak our schedule and our goals in a way that's going to support our life goals, like paramotor training, and also run our business and still show up and still feel like, at the end of the day, you killed it. Like that's what I love to do and teach is like there's goal setting, but there's this strategy of like organizing our time and those plans so that way you're not as overwhelmed, because like being a dreamer and working with all the healers with Emily too, it's like we get all these ideas of what we want to do and then we get overwhelmed because we're like, well, if I don't do it right now then I'll never do it. But it's really about the goal strategy of planning it out and when you're going to do it, because this year for me I set less goals but much bigger. And it like I have such a clear focus on what I'm doing per quarter and like what I'm doing in my business and life. Some of them they pivot a little bit, but I'm excited just because it's like I get to tune into, oh well, let's set these goals for your business and life because you get to do both. I think that's me. Like I want to be an advocate. You can do it all. Like you can do it.
You get to have whatever you want, but it's choosing it, deciding, and moving forward.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
I'm excited
that
too.
have said yes, and that like goals are it's a strategy. It's a way of planning the things out of how you're going to achieve the things and do it all without being overwhelmed, because that's me for a long time of like, how do I invest in myself, show up to all these things and like listen to the coaching videos and whatever you've invested in, but also run my business and like where's my time going, because I know when I first was an entrepreneur I was glued to my computer for 40-50 hours a week probably, thinking I needed to focus on X, Y, and Z when really my attention needed to be here. So it's like also like being like, oh, you don't need to mess with your website right now. You just need to do this instead. And yeah, I'm excited. It's really exciting to tune in to people, what they're doing, and then being like, let's focus on this and let's get this plan rolling. Because the number one thing I always hear from even my clients is, how do I get the consistent momentum of just doing all of the things that I need to do? And I'm like, that's my magic. I know what to tell you to do.
Yeah. Then number one for most of my clients in the mastermind is like, how do you get consistent clients and consistent higher reoccurring monthly revenue, whether you're working towards your first $3,000 a month or 5,000, 10, 20, I can help you figure out how to do that for you in a way that works for you. We don't really do the formula thing around these parts. And there won't be any like your ideal client avatar. We don't do that either. So it gets to work for you, your way, uniquely yours. There are 10 spots left in the mastermind. The pod calls are either 9 a.m. Tuesday or 3 p.m. Wednesday. Doors will be closing we start rocking and rolling April 10th. So send me or Michelle a DM if you're interested, and let's start the conversation so you can hop in the mastermind and spend the next 6 months getting supported by us so you can make more money and get more clients.
Yeah. You won't regret it.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be
so
amazing.
Excited.
I'm super excited.
Yay. Thanks for being here, Michelle.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye, everybody.